All right, what's up, everybody? It is January 16th, and we are in The Art of War, Chapter 6, Verse 17. For should the enemy strengthen his van, he will weaken his rear. Should he strengthen his rear, he will weaken his van. Should he strengthen his left, he will weaken his right. Should he strengthen his right, he will weaken his left. If he sends reinforcements everywhere, he will everywhere be weak. I like this one. This reminds me of StrengthsFinder and how people are like always kind of like naturally wanting to work on their weaknesses instead of reinforcing their strengths. If we're sending if we're trying to channel our resources into one avenue or one weakness, then what are we missing out on with our strength? What are we not putting effort into that we should be putting effort into? Let's go over to an alternate translation. Gain some insight. Master Sun says, so when the front is prepared, the rear is lacking. When the rear is prepared, the front is lacking. Preparedness on the left means lack on the right. Preparedness on the right means lack on the left. Preparedness everywhere means lack everywhere, right? Do you says, this means that when troops are on guard in many places, they are perforce scattered into small bands. You just can't be everywhere all at once at all times. This is why strategy is so important. You have to be able to pick and choose. You have to be able to strategically manage your resources. All right, we're going over to the Daily Stoic now. January 16th. This is Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman. Never do anything out of habit. So, in a majority of other things, we address circumstances not in accordance with the right assumptions, but mostly by following wretched habit. Since all that I've said is the case, the person in training must seek to rise above, so as to stop seeking out pleasure and steering away from pain, to stop clinging to living and abhorring death, and in the case of property and money, to stop valuing, receiving, or giving. Musonius Rufus, Lectures 6.25.5 to 11. Okay. There's a lot of parallels between this and what Sun Tzu is saying. Since all that I've said is the case, the person in training must seek to rise above, right? So we're always training, all of us, whether it's the army, whether it's our mental fortitude, whatever we're doing, we're always training, okay? And it's to rise above so as to stop seeking out pleasure and steering away from pain, all right? So if the left and the right, okay, so pleasure and pain, clinging to living and abhorring death, and in the case of property and money, to stop valuing receiving over giving. I like how it closes that. To value getting over receiving. To value getting over gifting. Right, when you give people stuff, it's so rewarding, so rewarding. It's very self-serving, but it's also like one of the most rewarding things that you can do. Givers give. Be a giver. Be a doer. A worker is asked, why did you do it this way? The answer, because that's the way we've always done things. The answer frustrates every good boss and sets the mouth of every entrepreneur watering. The worker has stopped thinking and is mindlessly operating out of habit. The business is ripe for disruption by a competitor, and the worker will probably get fired by any thinking boss. This is first break all the rules. Like, this is a book that I read that this is reminding me of. We should apply the same ruthlessness to our own habits. In fact, we are studying philosophy precisely to break ourselves of rote behavior. Find out what you do out of rote memory or routine and ask yourself, is this really the best way to do it? Know why you do what you do and do it for the right reasons. Know why you do what you do and do it for the right reasons. Are we just naturally trying to shore up our left side at the expense of the right? Are we just trying to bring up the rear to protect our weaknesses and make them better just so that we can try to protect the front, but in the in the action of doing so lose our ability to defend ourselves and maybe even lose ourselves in the process? And so in the essence of always doing things the same way because this is just the way that always has been done, these things, it's a very, it's all unedited, roundabout way. you're not trying to gain any knowledge or insight or wisdom when you just do it through rote repetition. And humans are smart, and you're smart, and you need to understand that you have a knack to rush through things and repetitively do them because of this unconscious habit, whether it's made us successful or unsuccessful. And so it could be anything from milling about, wasting those extra few seconds that you're trying to be so super efficient with in a time that you have three different things going on. Or it could be as simple as staying up 30 minutes too late or watching one more episode of that 23-minute show when you know, in fact, that you should be reading or going to bed or something that's bettering yourself, giving you wisdom, giving you insight, right? You're shoring, if you're going to shore up one side, shore up what you know. Don't go and try to defend something from behind. On a personal note, that's kind of where I'm at running two businesses, realizing that pouring my efforts and intentions into one is probably the best option. But because of past decisions and commitments and truth to who I am and what I've committed to, I'm having to shore up a weaker business in order to serve those clients. And selfishly probably give myself something to fall back on. It is a intellectual endeavor, and it'll be very hard, um, but it is necessary. Uh, it's not necessary actually, but as a financial investment advisor, right, for the very few clients I have, it's what's necessary, and I have to do it. Part of me loves it. So I will be someone who has two businesses, and maybe more, maybe less. But the fact is, no matter how many armies I have, no matter how many businesses I have, whatever metaphor we want to use, the truth remains that I need to make sure that I'm only reinforcing the good.